Centuries after the legend of the Vikings, a new legacy is forming in the heart of Minnesota. Today, we're inside the longhouse with one of the founders of 22 Northmen Brewery, Keith Hefley, to hear his story. Let's dive in. Hey Keith, can you hear me okay?
Okay, I can hear you now.
There
How
you are.
about me?
How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me today.
Sure.
I caught you just yesterday and it was rapid scheduling. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I just want to tell you a little bit more about what we're doing here. So we're running a website called MidwestMicrobrew.com, and we're
Yeah.
just going around interviewing a bunch of breweries around the Midwest, get your story out there, get more of like the inside scoop and just learn a little bit about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. I I'm from Colorado and started brewing when I went to college, um, way up in the mountains, Western State University. Uh, and my chemistry and microbiology professors were starting a brew pub and asked if I wanted to work with them. And they said, "Hey, we'll give you a ski pass and free beer and food." So thought that's the perfect college job for me. And then
Yeah,
I just
that's a pretty good deal.
been doing it ever since. So it's been like 24 years now.
Yeah, well, it worked out. That's a pretty good deal for a college student.
Yeah, totally.
I like that. So I guess if you started out in Colorado, kind of what inspired you to come out to Minnesota? Be working at 22 Northman.
Yeah, well, so I spent 8 years there, and then was it was a pretty small brew pub in a kind of a small ski town, and I wanted to learn more and get more experience. Ended up getting a job in from there, getting a job in Duluth at Fitger's Brewery. And at the time, they were doing, over 100 different beer styles a year, and it was a real fast-paced environment. So I just kind of wanted that experience, and Duluth looked like a cool place.
Yeah.
Um, so did that for several years, and then got the experience I wanted and decided I wanted to kind of leave the ship somewhere and then found a job back in Colorado and went back and uh, at a place called Shamrock Brewing Company. It's kind of an iconic brew pub in Pueblo, Colorado, which is close to where I'm from.
Hmm.
And did that for 5 years and then kind of wanted to push the boundaries again. And I got a job in St. Louis, uh, opening up a production facility with working with a guy from Schlafly Brewing in St. Louis. And at one time they were 50,000 barrel a year brewery, so I wanted to get more production experience, and learn kind of that side of it. So did that, and then got that off the ground, and then kind of decided I didn't need St. Louis wasn't the place for me. I have a family, and the school system was kind of rough and stuff. And then Tyler, the owner of Carlos Creek Winery, uh, I had my resume online, and he'd reached out and said, "Hey, we want to build a brewery up here in Minnesota." So I already knew about Minnesota, and it seemed like Colorado was pretty saturated at the time. And just I flew out here and kind of looked at what they were looking at doing, and it just kind of fit my kind of exactly what I wanted to do. And so then, yeah, I moved here in 2019 and started building our brewery, and it's on an existing vineyard and winery. And um, so they already had a customer base, and that seemed, uh, you know, that seemed like a good thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we built the brewery in 2019 and opened June. So I moved here in February, um, built the brewery out, and then we opened in June, and then uh, that's kind of where it's been. We did an expansion on. I was brewing. Uh, our production facility was attached to the tap room when we started, and after that first year, we quickly realized we needed to expand, and we expanded onto the back of that. And then in 2023, we just knew we had to get bigger. We built a new facility right next to the tap room, um, to really to one get the volume we needed, and two to really start uh, really cater to the techniques we wanted to do uh, with the beer we were making and what our customers like. So we were
Nice.
able to really focus on exactly what we wanted to do once we moved over and get the techniques that we wanted.
Hmm. Nice. Well, so you've been there since the beginning. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a great place to start. Uh, so for people who haven't been to your brewery, how would you describe it in one sentence or two sentences?
Ooh, in one sentence, we're an experience-based brewery.
Okay.
Um, I mean, that's we we sit on 180 acres. There's many things to do while you're here. Um, we have we have our own event center, and they do corporate events and a bunch of weddings every year. The grounds are beautiful. Um, Lots of outside spaces, which are great in Minnesota summers. Um, and yeah, the winery's been here for 25 years. So
Hmm.
there's a separate wine tasting facility. Um, and we call it the tasting room. And then we also have our own food truck that really never leaves the property. That's in the summers. We have a wood-fired pizza kitchen. That um, we specialize in many. We do many events and festivals, uh, and we're kind of on the end of that right now. Oktoberfest is our last big event, and then in the wintertime we kind of slow down and recoup. But throughout the summer, we're very busy.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, Minnesota gets cold.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
absolutely.
So, how's that Oktoberfest event? Is that a lot of people turn out for that?
Yeah, it's a lot of people. I can't really. It's not a ticketed event, so I can't really speak to the numbers. But I mean, we'll roll through over 50 kegs of beer on a Saturday
Oh,
for that
wow.
event, and we do have a event that's been going on for over. Well, this year is 25-year anniversary. It's called Grave Stomp, and we'll see 15,000 people over the weekend,
Wow.
and that's always the second weekend after Labor Day. And this year we went through 90, what was it, 96 kegs over the weekend,
Wow.
and then lots of wine. Um,
That's pretty significant.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
great. So, you see a lot of people. Do you have any regulars or who would those kind of people be and what draws them there consistently?
absolutely. We live in it's a resort. I call it a resort town.
Mhm.
Um, coming from the ski towns, it kind of feels similar. So our uh, our season it's very seasonal. So Alexandria is a core of 15,000 people, but in the summer it's more like 50,000, and
Mhm.
we're surrounded by lakes, and there's lake homes. So especially in the summer, when we see the people with second homes and stuff, we'll see them constantly. And then our locals typically live around us. And when we moved the brewery over, we were able to actually build a very long bar. We used the production space I was brewing in to build a very long bar and a new room. And uh, so that's where the locals typically hang out, is at the
Gotcha.
bar. And then we're also a place where people bring, usually when they have family coming to town or something like that. We're kind of a must stop for that.
Yeah.
We can cater to a lot of people in big
Yeah.
groups.
Oh, definitely. If you got all that space.
Yeah. One second.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
I only got 6 barrels. Yeah, that was Dan.
Ah, perfect. I'll say hi to him.
Yeah.
Um, so kind of moving on to the next questions about just regulars and all that. How family friendly is your space? Like, do you make accommodations like different age groups coming in there, or is it typically just one type of crowd?
No, we're extremely family friendly, and I mean, that's where our strength is. 'Cause like I said, people bring their whole family around,
Yeah.
and there's so much space for even the kids to run around and to gather, and we have multiple, we have places where, I mean, you have 10 people in your family, you can all sit in one spot, and I
Hmm.
mean, we'll on a Saturday in the summer, we'll typically have 2,000 people here at any given time.
That's pretty crazy.
So yeah, the family thing is exactly what we do, and we actually have a kids Oktoberfest this year. It's the Friday before Oktoberfest, and that's a kid focused event where we have root beer stein holding and games and all
Oh,
that
really?
stuff. So yeah,
Huh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that sounds like a great time for a kid.
yeah,
Um,
totally.
so let's see. What else do we get? So for someone visiting out of town, is there any like practical information that they should know, like if they're traveling up there? I know you said it's a resort type of town, so for getting around,
Yeah.
is there parking or reservations or like
Oh,
that
we
kind of
don't
stuff?
take reservations, but you typically don't ever need them. If you do have like a very big group, we like it when you call and tell us when you're coming, just
Gotcha.
so so we're not surprised.
Mhm.
Because there's sometimes people, 50 people will show up all at the same time, and that's good to know because we'll be able to serve them better if we know about it. But
Okay.
yeah, there's lots of parking. We have several parking lots. It can be a little confusing, but uh, there is if you look close enough, there's signs to tell you where to go,
Gotcha.
and as far as entrances and exits and things like that. So we
Gotcha.
hope it's easy to figure out.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so I got a few, since you're the brewmaster, I got some brewing questions for you.
Sure.
So walk me through like your core lineup. What kind of styles do you just always have available and why do you
Yeah,
keep them available?
we kind of focus on three areas. We do log. There's majority of our beer is going to be lagers, and you're going to
Mhm.
find a wide variety of those, and then IPA. And the next would be wood and barrel aged beers. So we always have those styles on. Um, our light lager, which is our best selling beer, is always on tap, and we have a since Minnesota is very Scandinavian culture. Our biggest selling IPA uses Scandinavian yeast, and
Hmm.
and so and even our brewery is built like a Viking longhouse, and it's
Yeah,
with old reclaimed wood, and big fireplaces, and axes, and all that stuff. So um, we kind of lean into that, but those two beers are really the only two core beers that we always have on, and then the rest are seasonal rotators. I mean, you're probably always going to find a pilsner. As of right now, we have three pilsners on, and and then we do very seasonal, um, like harvest beers. So I'm being from Colorado, I'm a big green chili fan. We
yeah,
just released our Pueblo uh, green chili lager.
really.
And yeah, and we get them in from Pueblo, we roast them here, put them in the tank hot, and then lager beer. We age lager on them, and that releases every year. We Right now we're also harvesting grapes in our vineyard, and so we'll take grape skins and we'll use those in a brew
Yeah,
um, once a year, and um, we typically always have a barrel aged imperial stout on. We age in bourbon barrels, and but yeah, I mean it's very seasonal. Summertime and things get really. We make a lot of fruited lager as well for the summertime, and that goes really well for us. But you're always going to find a wide variety of lagers. I mean, you usually have 4 or 5 IPAs on as well,
Yeah.
and then wood aged beer. We use wine barrels from the winery. We do mixed culture beers in them. So, uh, and those we have a cave on site. It's a man-made cave, but it used to house wine, which they outgrew that years ago. And once I saw the cave, I was like, well, that's a perfect mixed culture barrel aging project. So right now we have a mixed culture beer that's a blend of several different things that ultimately took us 3 years to it, took us 3 years to make.
Yeah.
Why it aged down there. So that's kind of the focus of our beer game. Lager to me is something that's not doesn't need to be a focus or fussed over. It's just I want it to be really good. So being a family friendly environment, that's the goal. Is I want you to come in, I know you're going to get a great lager that's easy to drink, but you're not going to focus on it. You're going to focus on the people you're with, and
Yeah.
and that's just going to be the social lubricant of to help you have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. That green chili pepper lager sounds super interesting to me. I haven't
Yeah,
had anything like that
you
before.
know, I didn't know how I was going to go over. I made a lot of them in Colorado, and I didn't know how the Minnesota palate would take it, but it's really popular. So
Huh.
we,
Yeah.
you know, we have a lager that we blend with olive brine,
Hmm.
and it's like an ode to like a Midwest dive bar. It's a very, it's 4%, and we'll serve it with these great olives. People really seem to dig that, and that's kind of that brings us into a sense of place and kind of um, a local thing.
Oh, definitely.
We just made a wet hop beer with a farm, probably 50 miles from here. They're growing vines. Went and harvested hops that morning, and we had them in our cool ship that afternoon. And we do things a little quite a bit differently than I guess like a traditional craft brewery would as far as our brewing setup.
Mhm.
So that kind of allows us to use some of those techniques and to do the grape skins and the wet hop beer and the chili stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people love that unique stuff. I mean, some of those sound like experimental. Do you have like what's your most unique or experimental beer that you've created and what
Oh
inspired that?
man. Well, over here, I we made a smoked lager with grapefruit. Um, we've honestly, I've gotten way more experimental in other places I've worked. Um, well, I can't say that. I guess with a recipe, but most of our experimentation comes with techniques,
Hmm.
and we kind of, I guess you could say we lean more on the traditional style, but our techniques is I think what makes us stand out because we do stuff way differently. I feel like the 99% of um, breweries, and it's all stuff that over 20 some years, like culmination of like if I could do anything I wanted, what would that be and how would that work? And
Gotcha.
learning from all the mistakes I'd made, and and then I was able to design a facility where I could be like, yeah, well, I could make, if we designed it this way, I could actually start doing that. And
Yeah.
um,
That's more
yeah,
exactly tailored to like
yeah,
you specifically and what you would.
yep.
That's pretty cool. So what's your most popular beer that you've created and what do you think makes it so popular?
Our biggest selling beer is Norse Lager, and it's been a laser focus of mine um, over almost a decade to make a light lager. It's that honestly, it's really hard to tell it came from a craft brewery.
Hmm.
And it's really, to me, it's been the biggest challenge of any beer I've really wanted to make because is lot of ingredients to work with and to make it as drinkable and crisp without all the techniques that the really big guys use, as
Mhm.
far as like blending from several tanks, and they make high gravity beer and then deaerate water and blend them together, and that's where they're getting a very homogeneous product. And honestly, our brewery is set up specifically to for that beer, which it also works great with other things, but um, I figure it's our biggest selling beer, and um, a lot of our customers are here for weddings or bringing their family. They're not really here to focus on beer. We do get the craft beer nerds, which we welcome, and I think we have a lot of stuff for them. But um, as a craft brewery, when a lot of your customers aren't, um, I'm going to close this door so I can hear.
Oh, no problem.
Well, no, a lot of your customers are not didn't come for beer; they came for maybe something else. Well, having that product that drinks like as crisp and clean and fresh and bright as a macro lager is important to us, and it's a big challenge to make those beers without this all the processes that they do.
Yeah.
Um, but we make it in the craft way. It's not like we put corn syrup or rice syrup in those. It's still 100% barley, but really dialing in that that beer has been our a big focus for us, and it took us, you know, several years to get where we are today with it. And so, and it's been fun, super interesting, and it's a challenge. So that's what makes my job fun. And
Yeah.
it was fun, you know.
Yeah, I bet. That's awesome. You kind of touched on this a little bit, but like as far as like ingredients go, how do you choose where to source them, or do you have any like local partnerships that you're working with?
Yeah. So like I said, the hop farm. And we also work with some malt growers in North Dakota, um, and using their malt.
Gotcha.
And we were working with a very small boutique maltster really close to us, family farmer who kind of engineered his own malt house and stuff, really like really cool things. But he decided it just wasn't worth his time and effort anymore. I mean, so we were pretty bummed when he decided to quit doing it. But yeah, we're always kind of looking for new things. Like we like using our grapes and our wine barrels that age our wine a lot. So the sky's the limit, and we're not in any distribution as far as liquor stores or anything. And we specifically have tried to be there and to make it work. So when you're working with those higher margins, we sell all our beer on site, cans and everything. Um, it allows us to have a little more flexibility with the things we can do and ingredients we can source, because our margins are a little higher and we can spend a little more on ingredients because we're not worried about the distribution side.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Yeah, that's one of the unique advantages for that situation for sure.
Yeah.
So if someone was new to craft beer and they were coming to your brewery for the first time, what like three beers would you recommend them to start out on?
Oh yeah. I would say right now, I would say you got to try the Norse Lager. It's our flagship light lager that we sell the most of. I would try the Midwest Martini, which is it's a light lager. It's a light lager with rye, and it's also blended with the olive brine, and we'll garnish it with olives. Because that's really, I didn't ever olives in beer wasn't a thing in Colorado. I didn't see it until I came out here, and I'm also a musician, and so I'd be playing in dive bars, and I would see olives dancing around in people's beers, and I was like, "What's going on with that?" And that's when it hit me. I was like, I got to make an
Yeah.
olive lager. And it's amazing. It's a great beer. So I would say try that, and then you know, maybe give a little 4 ounce stuff sample of our barrel aged stout, or uh, our grape skin beer, something that ties in to what we do and not many other people are doing, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, seeing those the people with the olives and their drinks and stuff, you're like there's a whole untapped market of people
Right,
that are
exactly.
doing that. So just looking at a little bit at the industry in Minnesota, how would you describe the craft beer scene up there? Like what makes it special compared to other places around the US?
Um, That's funny question because one of the appealing things to me moving to Alexandria was there wasn't a scene because it didn't feel like, you know, I was like, oh, I could just focus on, making some classics and not have to stand out in a scene itself, really.
Gotcha.
But in a sense, I mean, that's now that I've met more people in Minnesota and brewers and everything, that's why they like us because we kind of stuck to our guns and didn't really we weren't trying to, always have the next new thing out
Yeah.
uh and so um as far as the scene, there wasn't a huge scene here when we got here, and brewing in a small community is super fun. I mean, there is another brewery in town. Uh, those guys are great. They're called Copper Trail Brewing Company,
Mhm.
and but, I mean, we focus on different things. And as a matter of fact, I play music at their place quite often,
Hmm.
so I always like to see those guys come in here too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I saw that there was another one when I was researching Alexandria a little bit. But
Yeah, and there's also a really small one up in Parker's Prairie, but much smaller town north of us, and those guys do a great job too. Um, their Oktoberfest is coming up, so yeah, we do have a very small scene, but it's kind of our own thing, and we're not we're not very close to the Twin Cities, which has their own thing going,
yeah.
and yeah, and Fargo has a great beer scene as well.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Yeah,
With I mean the smaller beer scene, I mean there's like you get more creative freedom though too to kind of do what you guys want because you're not trying to copy like the path or the scene that's already been set. So
right.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think we feel like we don't. It's nice not to feel like we have to keep up with the Jones per se.
Right. Absolutely. Um, so what kind of trends are you seeing in craft beer these days then? And how are you guys responding to that?
Oh, I think quite honestly, I kind of saw it coming, just being in the industry for a long time. So honestly, when we built the place out, I I really wanted to focus on lighter ABV lagers, which is and we kind of I think some people were confused by that when we started, but I mean that's where the trends are going. People are maybe drinking a little lower ABV beer and maybe having a couple instead of one, 7% IPA type of thing. And yeah, we have a lot of low ABV beer, so that works. And plus, we're slightly out of town and not great public transportation here. So, if you come out, you might not want two 7% IPAs. You might want two 4% lagers, so you can
Yeah.
safely get back home.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's considerate of you.
Yeah.
Um, so what's your long-term vision for the brewery? Like where do you guys see yourself growing from 5 years? Because like you mentioned, it's a newer brewery, but you guys have had a lot of growth and where do you see this continuing?
Yeah, I think we're gonna keep focusing right here on site and um, don't have any major plans. I guess we did end up making a beer for a cool restaurant in town. Specifically for them, we don't serve it. It's completely their own. Um, maybe we'll get into doing a little more stuff like that, but honestly, I think we're just going to try to cater to our customer experience here and more events, and we just try to figure out how to make it more fun on site for customers and people wanting to bring their family and everybody here. So um no big plans for any significant barrelage growth or anything. We're just kind of like the pace we're at. And
Yeah.
no, it's Dan and I, and then we have another guy that switches between wine and beer for packaging. And
Mhm.
so we have a really small, tight-knit crew, and I like that. When I was at a much bigger production brewery in St. Louis, I rarely got to brew. I was meeting with, we had four distributors, and that's what I was doing. I was doing stuff I didn't want to do. And
Right.
here, I get to be in the brewery every day and doing all the things like to have fun with doing, and having complete creative control with what we put out is also super fun. I don't have to cater to what a distributor wants or anything like that. So
Yeah. I mean, you've kind of hit that sweet spot. And like you said, I mean, that's why you left some of those other places to come out there. So
yeah.
no, that makes total sense to me. That's awesome. So just a couple of closing questions for you. What's the best way for people to stay connected with what you guys are doing? You have like a social media pages or
Well, we do, and we have many because we have many different things. Carlos Creek Winery is a really good way to stay connected. It kind of touches all aspects of our business, but we also have 22 Northmen Brewing Company on those things. We get slightly different content, and even our festivals have their own website and stuff. So, but if you go to carloscreekwinery.com, you'll
Mhm.
be able to get to everything from there, and it kind of encapsulates the whole business. We also, oh, I should mention, we have a very large focus on live music.
Mhm.
So all that stuff is up to date on the websites and all in socials. And over the summer we'll have 4 to 5 different acts a weekend out here.
Wow.
Um, and so yeah, that's a good way. The website, I personally enjoy Instagram, I guess, uh, to kind of keep up with that. But Carlos Creek Winery, 22 Northman Brewing Company, both work.
Gotcha.
I would say Carlos Creek Winery engages a much wider audience.
Okay. Gotcha. That makes sense. And then do you have any final thoughts or messages for people who might be considering a visit?
Yeah, just come out and check out what we do. And if you see me, say hi.
Awesome.
Like,
All right. Well, Keith, I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me. This was great. So,
absolutely. Thank you.
so I'll whenever I'm done editing the interview and creating an article, I'll send it your way, and that way you can see it too. But
Awesome. Sounds
yeah,
good. Appreciate it.
yeah, you have a good one. Bye.
Yep, you too.
Alrighty, guys, that's going to do it for today. Be sure to check out some of our other exclusive interviews with the people from the best breweries in the Midwest. Bye now.